What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be starting on Zach's car. So you saw the last kind of bulk update in the shop. You saw that we're going to be making it a little bit more race car, street car. What does that mean? What do I mean we're going to make it more race car, street car? We're going to try to make it lighter. We're going to try to make more horsepower. We're going to try to, those are the race car aspects that it's getting. The street car aspects are, we are going to try to make it nicer because it is hacked together. And we're going to try to make it stay cool in street use, which it did not do before. So getting a little bit of both categories. Now this is the fastest car that we work on religiously. We're kind of like the pit crew for these guys. They're great customers of ours. We really appreciate them allowing us to do this for them and allowing me to kind of experiment with different things that I'm learning and I want to apply to somebody's car, like the notch, but this car is coming first. So what do I mean by that? I mean, we're going to be doing like tube front end on this car. We're going to be doing a 850 cage for more racecraft instead of the 6-point that's in it. And all of these things are going to happen with the assistance of the owner. So it's kind of going to be a group project, and we do got to get it way lighter, but the first part of this is going to be the tube front end. So we just did one recently on a green SN95, the road race car. This one should be a little bit easier, mostly because we don't need to put any of the factory stuff back like we did on the green car. So we actually got the race kit from Rock Solid Motorsports. The general idea is the same. We're going to cut them here and there, down here, down there. That gets whacked. All this stuff will be able to come off, and then we'll just tube in the front, and then we'll be making mounts to hang the stuff back on. A lot of this stuff is going to change. So this turbo mount, you guys can kind of see what we're working with here. This turbo setup is junk. You can see it all wiggle. You can see how good the welds are. If I stand on this, it'll probably break off. You know, all this is just race car stuff. Did it work? Yes. Did it go fast? Yes. But we did blow it up last year. And upon further inspection with the engine, the crank timing trigger wheel was like hogged out the hole in the center. The balancer bolt was never tight, so everything was jumping around. And when Zach grabbed the scramble button on it, we don't know what the ignition timing even was. I mean, we know what the car called for. It was nothing that it hasn't done before, but all of a sudden the duty cycle and the ejectors went through the roof, the closed loop compensation went through the roof, and it totally melted itself down. So it is getting a badass motor. You guys will see that in the future on this build series. We do have all the stuff to put the engine back together, but first we're going to tube the front end and get set up to get the motor in here with front and mid plates, because we're going to be upgrading that a little bit as well. So yeah, let's get in to start taking this thing apart. All right, hour later or so, maybe 2. I don't know. I'll check the time card. No reaction on Zach. We got the front end stripped down. We're going to start measuring. I'm going to reprint the instructions for the tube front end from Rock Solid. But if I recall correctly, it was just in front of this bolt here, follow it down, and then just in front of this stuff here. So we're going to whack the front of this thing off. Oh, we got to steal these off of it, and then might as well take all the hardware off of it and put it in. Then, yeah. So we're getting there. When we start cutting it, I'll set up the camera. You guys will watch us cut it off, because that'll be kind of fun. As we're about to cut the front end off the S197, the marks are on it, so they kind of give you an idea. Now the directions from Rock Solid Motorsports are for a 10 to 14, so we're kind of spitballing a little bit of it, but we'll be all right. We're going to be conservative on it, just get the front half of it off, and then we'll worry about trimming it and start fitting stuff up afterwards. But for right now, we're just going to kind of get the general front half of it off. This is going to be the only thing that we're going to have, the way they ran this brake line through here. So we'll have to kind of trim around that. But other than that, she's pretty much ready to remove. We got all the wiring, everything tucked back. Just total mess, total chaos going on there. So that'll all get changed. But right, this is going to conclude day one, first half of the tube front end video, because I'm doing wheelies in the wheelchair, which means I'm done for the day. But we got most of it off, nicked the brake line. So we have to do some brake lines, which we want to do anyway because they're kind of messed up and not sure why the line lock is front and center in this application. It's not that beautiful. The K-member is going to end up getting changed. The rack's going to get changed. Motion column's going in. All this is going to get changed, but it's going to stay on here while we do the fab work. And then we'll start cleaning and replacing stuff. I'm not sure if we're going to go to a long travel front strut yet. Depends on how hard I can twist Zach's arm. Well, that'll be it. Hopefully start tacking some stuff into this thing tomorrow and getting the fenders back on it and waiting until we put the motor in. But you guys will see that in the second half, so let's clip to that now. All right, guys, second half of this video, and I've been a terrible host. We're so very sorry, but I had a very complicated morning, and I didn't get started on this until like after lunch, which was like 2. So I didn't get to really show you the step-by-step of installing the Rock Solid Motorsports front end. But let me wrap up this video with this part of this project. And it's in. Da-da-da! I'm actually really happy with a lot of it. This is the most difficult part on the last one that I did. It's a really thick plate to really thin metal. So this time I actually stitched it. I did like an inch of steel, and then I did silicone bronze all around it just to make it look smoother without burning the sheet metal away. And I'm actually really happy with that. I will be doing that in the future with that kind of mating style. Same thing over here. These gussets, I had a tough time. It's still hot. I had a tough time getting this one to fit. This one fit perfect. The welds show. The welding on this thing overall, I would say I'm really satisfied with. There's a couple spots that are rough, but one thing I definitely learned from the last one is drilling a hole that connects all of these. So there's a hole in between here and here, in between here and here, in between here to here. This one's got a hole in it here. So every bar has a vent in it somewhere. So I continue to keep welding on this tube front end, and I can keep putting mounts on it without having it blow out anywhere. So that's going to be really, really important moving forward, that we keep that strategy going, because oh my gosh, doing between that and cleaning the mill scale off probably made this one 10 times better than the last one for those simple reasons alone. So anyway, that wraps up the first part of the S197 rebirth. There's a lot going on. As you can see, the engine bay is a complete mess. So we're going to start fixing that next, get it nice in here. All the new front end suspension components will be here next week. So next time you guys get an update on this project, it'll probably have the wiring ripped out of it. We'll start messing with the dash and getting maybe the new column in it, because I want to set up all the new front suspension. And I think we're going to probably do the remainder of the hard work outside the car before we move into the inside of the car, because we have a cage kit to do on the inside as well. But I think I want to do like the motor plates, build the engine, and get that kind of set in here, and maybe even do the turbos and leave the 6-point in it for now, just because I'm trucking on the front, and if we can get the front done, the brakes done, the suspension done, then the front half of the car is done, and then do the cage as a separate part, because the cage might lead into doing the back half of the car. So we just got to get we got to get Zach to get some more hail damage cars wrapped up so we can put some inbound coilovers in the back and get this thing to really sit nasty. But anyway, all that will be discussed in a future episode with this project. So make sure you smash the subscribe button down below to stay up to date on this. And then the next video you guys will see from us will be a different car, and we'll keep you updated along that project as well. So thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time.